people that look like us and come from where we come from, we're not supposed to be in those types of rooms with those type of people. And we don't really understand how powerful money is because we're never exposed to people that have real money, right? So like you think about people, when we think, if you thought about somebody that in your mind has money, you're thinking a couple million. That a couple million to them doesn't even show up on the balance sheet. Like these people play with hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars, and they will delete line items that equate to lives off of a spreadsheet because it doesn't make sense to them.
I got money on my mind, I'm just trying to get some dough. I ain't picking up my line, unless it's money on the phone. Gotta get it on the daily, all I want is dubs, you know what I'm on. I've been chasing after paper, all I know is run, money marathon.
Capital Gains.
Welcome back, everyone, to another great episode of Capital Gains Podcast. This is where we have real conversations with real people in real time. I am one of your hosts, DJ Bay, also known as the Prince of Hemp, and here is my co-host,
Peter Parker, CEO of Digital Billionaires, director of the motherfucking year. I got it right that time.
Oh, okay, yeah, I feel you. Like, we on time today. All right, we also got Daydreams in the house.
Daydreams of credit, queen.
Yes. And next to her, we actually have Carlton Washington. He actually is a specialist in franchising, and you said health and wellness, right?
Yeah, Forever Young.
Forever Young. Yeah, we're going to get into that because you are actually the first person to be on the show who actually has a franchise. And then we have Kevin James right next to us. Jennings, excuse me.
One job, sir. One job.
Damn, I'm about to say, I ain't gonna do that till you on camera. I ain't gonna do that till you on camera because it wasn't me, bro. Because I'm sticking to my notes. But I appreciate you for the correction. But yes, you specialize in government contracting, and like I just in pre-show you had just mentioned something like how you actually how you operate in like 9-figure businesses. I understand how government contracting work. You get very large deals. Sometimes you contract things out, and it's a different tier of business. And one thing that really stood out when you were speaking, it was the point that you don't need social media in order for you to be set. You don't have to deal with the public in order for you to be able to be financially stable.
No, not at all. It's actually better that you don't.
Oh, I agree.
Because the government doesn't want someone out there constantly throwing in people's faces the money that you're making from them and the things that you're doing. So it's actually better that you don't have all of that, because all that can be used as a weakness in government contracting. Your competition can see it as a weakness.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So it's actually better. I love it because I'm not a social type of person anyway. Like I'm naturally an introvert. So that's what kind of pushed me to it, because it was great. I don't need to talk to people. I never ran an ad. So when I started doing like stuff online, they're like, "Oh, you got to run ads, do this." I'm like, "How do I do that?" Because I never had to do that. Because I don't have to market to my customer.
Right.
All private
me.
sector.
Huh?
All private sector.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right, hold on. Cause y'all know what y'all I don't know what the fuck y'all talking about. What is a government, like, I think I understand the concept of it, but what is a government contract and how does somebody go about getting it?
All right. So you ever seen the movie War Dogs or heard about it?
Yes.
So essentially, War Dogs is government contracting.
Okay.
The difference between me and the dudes on War Dogs is I don't sell guns, I sell toilet paper.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
But nothing about it's the same concept.
Hold on. Go
9-figure toilet paper?
Time out. You said you was talking about 9 figures and you making off toilet paper?
Yeah, toilet paper, trash bags, copy paper.
I'm dumping my business in the trash, bro. Where the toilet paper at, bro? What the fuck?
You still want a podcast?
No, toilet paper sound like the best business to me. So talk to me. How does this work?
So it's all right. So the United States federal government is the largest consumer of goods and services in the world.
Okay.
The budget is anywhere between this year I think it's right around $11 trillion, right? So every year on October 1st, the federal government gets 10, 11, 12 trillion dollars deposited in a bank account, and they got one job, is to make that bank account go to zero by September 30th the next year. So the reason that they do, the way that they do that is through contracting. So they buy all types of goods or services. Any good or service that you can think of, no matter what it is, no matter how crazy you might think it is in your head, the government buys it in some capacity. And so all I've learned how to do is take the skill sets that I have and sell them to the government. And then now I teach other people how to take whatever skill set they have and then resell it to the government.
You said anything.
Literally, there's not one thing you can think of right now that I can't find a contract related to.
All right, so I'm gonna throw myself in there real quick because I have a video production company. but I'm mostly known for music videos and stuff like that, right? But by a video production company. How do you get a government contract for something like that?
So a couple ways. One way is you can get social media contracts for one. So the government gives out a lot of social media contracts. Social media contracts range between 5 and 6 figures monthly. So you can get social media contracts for one. So you can post content for the government and you can help them arrange their content. You can respond to DMs, comments.
For the government?
For the government. So that's one way. Second way is you can produce meetings and conferences. So the same way that like this podcast, you have camera set up, you have live streaming, you have recording. You can do that for the government when they do large meetings. You ever seen the Congress meetings or like
Of course, yeah.
Like when they bring people to sit up in front of Senate? Have you ever thought how that gets live streamed?
Wow. And the crazy part is most of the government stuff is the easiest shit. It's like super simple.
Super simple.
It's not
it
even,
has to be.
Wow.
Yeah. Government contract is the easiest thing out there, and the reason I can say that with confidence is because it has to be. It's the government. So it has to be very standardized. The same way they do something here in Miami, they got to do it the same in LA. They got to do it the same.
So it's not like about the glitz and the glamour. It's just about getting it done simple as possible.
How easily can we get a mission accomplished?
This ad is brought to you by Capital Gains.
Are you struggling to find clients? Well, guess what? I was too, until I stumbled upon the best client in the world. That's right, the United States federal government. Every year, they spend over $1 trillion with small businesses just like yours. Let me show you how to tap into this client, this amazing client that's always gonna pay on time and always needs the product and service that you provide. So why does everybody need a government contract? It's real simple. Even your biggest businesses have them. Let me give you a quick example. Jeff Bezos, everyone knows him for Amazon. But did you know last year Amazon actually lost $1 billion? But his government contracting company, AWS, made $32 billion. That's right, $32 billion was made just in government contracting alone. That's one of the main reasons why you, just like Jeff Bezos, need government contracting. Are you serious about taking your business to the next level? If so, go ahead and click the link below. Now listen, I can only take on a certain number of clients every month because there's only so much time that I can devote to doing this. So I need you guys to be just as serious as I am and click that link below and let's start your journey in government contracting today.
Wow.
Is your government contracting solely based out of the state where you live?
It can be. It just depends on, it really depends on you and your business model and how you want to set your business up. So like for me, I'm in the construction space and primarily I work in the Southeast United States. But you can take it anywhere because once you're registered to do business with the government, with the federal government, you can work anywhere the United States government works all over the world. And then you can take it down from there. You can start working with states and then cities and counties. But the easiest is the feds.
Most definitely. Speaking on states, Mr. Franchise Crawl, I would like to know what it's like for you in business, just being able to, as a CEO or owner of multiple businesses, being able to manage something of that scale. If you don't mind, could you share that with the people?
Yeah, I mean, I'll preface it by saying when I got into franchising, which was 4 years ago, I went out to a meeting. The guy who started off the meeting was David Goggins. And before David Goggins got there, it was all people in franchising. This was like my introduction to kind of getting into the world of franchising. And the guy got up and said, "Hey, does everybody here know what the first rule of franchising is?" And everybody's like, "No, what is it?" He was like, "The first rule of franchising is never franchise your business." And we're like, "Oh shit." And he's like, "But since you guys are already here, it's too late. We might as well proceed." And I didn't really know what that meant at the time, but now I know. Franchising is a very small group of people in this country that really are in the day-to-day of franchising, operating franchises, selling franchises, and everything in between. It's a small group of people. A lot of these places that you see out here, storefronts, are franchises of some sort. Most people think franchise McDonald's, right? There's any kind of business, just like Kevin was saying, that you could think of, there's a franchise for that. And franchising is growing. But what most people don't prepare you for is these are like 10-year marriages, right? So like if you were to buy a franchise from me, it's a 10-year relationship. It's a contract. And I'm hoping that you're going to follow my process because that's the only reason you would buy a franchise if you want a consistent process, something that works. And then I'm betting that, that's going to work on from your end. And then you're betting that I'm going to fulfill my promise. Now, I can assure you that I'm going to fulfill my promise, but when you sell your baby to someone and they don't show up on their end, it can be a very, very frustrating process. So, I mean, we have a lot of wins We're the leader in our industry in terms of growth, development in the franchising space, period. But a lot of people don't understand that behind the scenes, it looks glamorous, but it's, I got 40 different wives, right? That we have to deal with, right? And
So, like, I'm about to say,
I was about to say,
we gotta clean that up.
We do have
Like, you're talking about the
polygamists in the building.
businesses, though, right? Because we talk about polygamy a lot on here.
Yeah. No, so just to clarify again, because again, we're comparing these relationships to marriages, and so the truth of the matter is, every time I sign a franchise, we are married. We're joined at the hip for 10 years at least, and it better work out, right? And it's expensive if it doesn't. And so that's the thing that nobody can prepare you for, is that, you have to cater to 40 different relationship styles and different demands all the time, different states. And it's something that nobody can really prepare you for.
Question for you. If somebody wants to franchise, can you still be a visionary? Like, if I want to buy a franchise. No. Okay, great.
You gotta run.
Hell no.
Okay, no.
Absolutely.
No, you gotta run.
That's a great question, because once a month we bring out candidates. I have a team, so just to make sure, credit to my team. I have a full team that helps operate these businesses with me and my partner, and we couldn't do it without them. But our job is once a month we bring out candidates to come look at our business concept, and my job is to make sure that nobody gets across that line that's not supposed to. And so, look, it's great. If you want to be a visionary, go be a visionary. We tell these people every single time, you can start a business like mine on your own. And if you think that you can do that, go ahead and do it, please. But what we're selling to you is like a $1.5 million discount or a coupon for all the mistakes you're going to make at the jump. And I can guarantee you're going to make at least $500,000, but more than likely $1.5 million or more mistakes, and you may or may not be able to continue operating that business. So be a visionary. You don't have to buy a business from me. But if you have all these grand visions of what you want to do in this space, please don't bring it here. We ask for no genius attacks. We don't need that. We're here to follow a process, and the process works. And that's what you're paying for. We don't want to take your money if you're not going to follow the process.
Are you all familiar with the McDonald's movie
The Founder?
Yeah, The Founder, and like they were sick because he wanted to change the process, bro. It became a whole problem.
Again, I'm glad you brought that up. If you remember that movie, there's a scene on the golf course where he goes out and his two franchisees are playing golf, and he runs out with a Big Mac, and he's like, yo, what the fuck? He's like, 2 fucking patties and 2 pickles. It's 2 pickles. There's 4 pickles on this bun. He throws it in their face, and that's real.
Ruining the process.
That's real.
I got cussed out for that one time. Right? I'm just like, because I'm a visionary. I'm a genius. You said no genius attacks. Like, I got a real unique brain. I'm in there like, yo, I could do it like this. Motherfucker's like, that's not the process. I'm like, I don't need to be here. I wasn't there much longer, but I get it. That's the reason why if you do get a franchise, you put people in place in order to run it in that process. And
I think the biggest part he said was you're paying to not make the mistake. So we was looking into getting into a Starbucks franchise, right? Me and wifey, and I had all these ideas about, look, when I go to Starbucks, I would like this, that, and third, right? And I'm glad you brought that up because, as somebody that doesn't know about franchising, why the fuck would you try to change a winning formula? It's like, if you got an NBA championship team, why add new players?
Yeah, the blueprint is already made for you. It's already laid out for you.
Yes.
But some of us are, we visionary.
We all have a process. I mean, you guys have a process for your podcast right here. And if I just came in and started moving mics around, all that 100%. Shit, you wouldn't like that too much, right? You know what I mean? Or if I put my sign up there, you know what I'm saying? So it's your baby, and you got to treat it like that. And again, it's like when you got something that works, you don't need to mess with it. And that's franchising.
I respect that. That's dope.
This ad is brought to you by Capital Gains.
Peace, everyone. It is the Prince of Hemp, DJ Bay, and I am here to give you good news. We have finally launched our mastermind. Go to djbaymastermind.com, and you can see all of our exclusive content from podcasts with KRS-One, Hakeem Green, and we have ebooks, education material, documents, anything that you need in order to increase your wealth, in order so you know how you better scale your business model. Make sure you join today. Peace.
space are you in now? Your franchise?
So we're in medical wellness and aesthetics. So to really try to simplify it, we are anything that's going to make you look better and feel better that's not invasive, like not surgery, under one roof. We don't take any insurance. So it's things like hormone replacement, testosterone, facial aesthetics, skincare, blood work, nutrition, anything like that that's really going to work, that's tried and tested, that we can offer that's non-surgical. And that's elective. We do that.
Oh, you getting the bag. Like everything you said expensive.
Yeah.
No, but that's what's up. And like I for sure appreciate the insight just from the franchising perspective, because even though I understand what franchising is, I've actually never heard it like presented in that fashion.
100%.
And like from somebody who actually work in that realm, like it's very beneficial to hear that.
That's why I've been telling him, I've been helping Carlton kind of get exposed to the whole internet life and the whole world, because I'm like, bro, there's nobody that looks like us,
Right.
that has the knowledge that he has, that can really talk and teach our people, because although a lot of us are visionaries, there's a lot of people that aren't.
Right.
Which is why I teach what I teach with government contracts. It's like, listen, you want to have a business, but you don't understand how to do all those things. Okay, instead of where our aunts and uncles all go work for the government, because we all have family members that work for the government in some capacity, right?
Yeah.
So instead of you following down that same road, let me show you how to work with the government. Do the same thing, but make more money. But yeah, you're not that visionary that's gonna go out there and learn how to create this big business.
Right.
So you can do the simple things that the government can provide.
I can't hold you, bro. I done came across a lot of people, and I'm an educator myself, but you're possibly the only person who class I actually want to take.
I appreciate
That's
it.
real shit. That's real.
I'm like, for real, because like I don't be on that type of time, bro.
Sign me up.
He said something before the show, which I think is really important, and I think you really need to highlight on your show more and more. So check it out. He's talking about there's not that many people that do what we do, right, out there. And there's definitely not that many people who look like us, hardly any at all, out there doing this. And the funny thing is, and he said something about this as well, like if he walks in a room, right, maybe people don't know who he is. They don't know how successful he is, right? Why? Because we don't publicize it. And the funny thing is, that I see with all this social media and all these podcasts, you got all these dudes, they got all this time on their hands producing podcasts and producing social media, selling bullshit. How do you have all that time to do shit, right? Because I can tell you what, we're busy, we're so busy working, right, that we don't have time to do all this shit, right? So we don't have time sometimes to do as many posts and to educate people and all this stuff. And so that's why a lot of times people don't understand or know what we're talking about, because what I'm finding is that the people that I bump into that have a really high net worth and are ultra successful, you cannot, they don't have any time, bro. They might have social media, but they have no time.
Well, you know
Zero
what it
time.
is. So let me tell. So I specialize in digital marketing, right? And you know, a lot of guys like yourself, I always come across, and we always had this topic. And my thing is, sometimes it's not about posting all the time. The number one thing in digital and social media is telling your story one time, a million different ways, right? So the biggest thing is when it comes to us, right? You're no different than that guy. You know, the only thing that's different is our story, where we come from and our journey, what took us to get there, and people paying so they don't make the same mistakes that we had. You feel me? That's what makes us valuable. So, you know, here at Capital Games, we like to talk about, you know, as my favorite quote in Love Yours music video, J. Cole, is there's beauty in the struggle, right? How did y'all get to y'all point? Like, you know, we can go one by one. How did y'all get to the point where you know, you're making the money and successful? Who were you before that?
That's good. So from my story goes like this. So born and raised here in Miami. My parents got divorced when I went to high school, so I ended up going to high school in Atlanta.
Okay.
Played sports, played football, went to Florida A&M. Halfway through school, decided that football, I just lost love. You went to Bethune-Cookman High School?
Come on, man, don't do that.
As a high school, man, this high school campus is bigger than that.
I just remember the parties.
Yeah, it's not your fault though. It's okay. But so I went to FAM and studied business, right? So crazy thing, I'm in business school, I'm playing, and I actually get kicked out of business school. So I had got into the entertainment world, and I started throwing parties and stuff. And because I knew everybody on not just our team, I knew people on Florida State's team, so I was able to always pack out parties just with my homeboys essentially. So I started learning business, and so long story short, I got kicked out of business school. The dean told me I would never be a businessman, and I was like, damn. And I didn't understand what she meant at the time, but then now I get it. It's because the schools, they basically breed people to go work for Fortune 500 companies. So if you don't fit that mold and that model of somebody that can work for one of those companies, you're not a good fit. So I went and got into engineering. Came back home, started doing construction, and then I started flipping houses in the early 2000s. So 2004, 2005, got into that. Became a millionaire at 25, and then I was bankrupt at 27 because I didn't know about the bust. So 2007,
I was just gonna
2008,
ask you how did the
when that came, I lost it all. You know what I'm saying?
What?
And so my original fortunes were made in real estate, and that's how I learned a lot was through the real estate game in the early 2000s. And then in 2007, when everything started going down, as it was going down, I was like, damn, I gotta do something else. So then I'm just trying to figure out different things to do. And my dad had been involved in government contracting in like the 80s and 90s because he was an aircraft mechanic in the Navy. And so then when he came out, he went to work for Eastern Airlines, but then he started a little small aircraft repair shop over at Opelika Airport. And he would work on people's planes on the weekends. And then they had brought him some military parts one time, and he knew about it because he had done that when he was in the military. So that's how our family got introduced to government contracting. So in 07, he kind of hit me to it. He was like, yo, you should really look to this because this is something that's not going anywhere. It's never gonna crash, right? So that's when I tell you literally I was selling toilet paper, I started by selling toilet paper. So I used to sell toilet paper, paper towels, hand sanitizer, and nitrile gloves to TSA at Fort Lauderdale Airport. And that's how I got my start, was selling commodities. And then they found out that I had the construction experience. So then I started doing the construction work, and then literally just went from selling toilet paper to building buildings. And then I got into underground utility construction in 2014. And I started doing water and sewer stuff here in Miami and South Florida. And then in
big contracts.
yeah, and then so then that leads me to 2017. I sold one of my companies to one of my competitors. So one of my competitors bought me in 2017. I went to work for the private equity firm that bought me for 2 years, and to 2019.
Hold on, wait a minute. Can't just speed past private equity firm.
Yeah, I was bought by PE.
Okay, so I know what that means.
Yeah.
So I don't want you to say the name, but what was it like working with the private equity firm? Just because that's a different level of money.
So that's a whole nother kind of podcast for a podcast. But I'll say that this is what I'll say is that people that look like us and come from where we come from, we're not supposed to be in those types of rooms with those type of people.
This ad is brought to you by Capital Gains.
What's going on, y'all? It's directed here, Peter Parker, and my course, Guerrilla Filmmaker, is finally here. They said you need film school to become a successful director. They used to laugh at me when I carried a picture of my dream camera in my pocket. They talked about the way I dressed because I invested all my money in the camera equipment instead of clothes. And now, they call me Peter Parker, the director of the year. I know I've been promising y'all for a long time now, year after year, but I've been working very hard on this course, perfecting it so you guys get the most value out of it, right? I mean, listen, I've packed this with so many videos, so much content that you have to win, right? It's a must buy course. And if you get it right now, it's just half off. And let me tell you what's involved, right? It's like, if you first get your camera and you're ready to start making money, I'm going to show you how to make some money. This course is not just about technical skills, because yeah, we're going to get busy. We're going to show you what cameras to buy and how to get the best quality out your camera, but it's really about increasing your income and 10x in your company. Are you ready to take not only your videography skills to the next level, but actually make a company and actually start scaling your company to make more money? Guerrilla Filmmaker is the course for you. I promise you, I've waited this long on purpose to give y'all the greatest course I could possibly give. So make sure y'all tap in, click the link in the bio, and join the Guerrilla Filmmaker family.
And we don't really understand how powerful money is because we're never exposed to people that have real money, right? So like you think about people, when we think, if you thought about somebody that in your mind has money, you're thinking a couple million. That a couple million to them doesn't even show up on the balance sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Like these people play with hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars, and they will delete line items that equate to lives off of a spreadsheet because it doesn't make sense to them. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a different type of person.
Like Ken Griffin, Larry Fink type money.
It's literally fuck you money.
Yeah.
And so it's different. It was a very, very, very interesting experience. I learned a lot through it. I'm very grateful for it, but I learned a lot. And so then basically that's how I came up. And then in 2021, I turned 40, and I was like, man, I got to do something different. I felt like there was a bigger calling on my life, so I started the educational platform that I have. It's called The Government Cheese. And basically now I educate business owners on how to take their business and pivot and start selling to the largest consumer in the world.
Okay, before I let you go past that,
Mm-hmm.
have you ever dealt with any American Indian tribes or Native American tribes for government contracting?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we got something to talk about because I'm Lenape.
Okay.
Oh yeah, so yeah.
So
we got some. Yeah.
So the Indian, so Native American, Alaskan, and Hawaiian, all of those three classifications, they have special contracts that are set aside for them. So I hate to use the word, but it's the easiest way to relate it to most people. But you know how people say like black people should get like reparations and things like that, and they've been fighting for like reparations.
That's that right.
So essentially, the Indians get a form of reparations, which is the set aside government contracts. So they're given billions of dollars a year to basically sustain the tribes themselves through working on government contracts.
So look, earlier you said something about you went on stage. I get you were talking to a group of kids.
Now, I was talking at a conference
talking to conference.
Yeah, big conference.
And you know, you're next to other people that may do something maybe that's entertaining to the people or whatever. And you know, what's the reaction from you who are probably 10 times more successful than most people that are right next to you that might be more attractive because they're in a different industry? You know, what's that like?
I mean, it's tough to sit there and be a part of, because when you realize that people don't care about anything substantial, like they just literally, people these days just want to be entertained.
You know what's interesting? And I don't know, because you seem to be like, you know, when you deal with government contracting, it's a different type of mentality I'm seeing, right? Because it's straight up and down. You get great money and you do what it do. But, you know, we talk to the kids a lot. And sometimes when you're talking to the kids, you have to do it in a way that's so relatable that, you know, it's okay to be a what I call a digital trapper, right? It's okay to get money in other ways, but we have to relate it to them like, yo, you think being on the block is cool? You think selling drugs is cool? Well, you know, there's other ways of trapping. You know what I'm saying? There's other ways to be on a block. Your block could be your website.
So the way I try to like explain to people with what it is that I do is that you can hustle, you can do the fast things, you can do the fun things, right? But you have to have something sustainable. The problem that I have with today's society is because sustainability is not sexy, it's not talked about. So I try to preach sustainability. And I'll give you an example of it, and I gave it on stage, and I give it on stage every time I speak. Jeff Bezos. When you hear Jeff Bezos, what do you think?
Amazon.
Right?
Broke for 20 years, damn near.
The first thing you think when most people, when they hear Jeff Bezos, they hear Amazon.
Right.
And you think billions as it relates to Jeff Bezos come from Amazon, right? That's what the average person would think. All right, so last year Amazon made $582 billion, okay? At a negative 2% profit margin. They lost $1 billion, right? Jeff Bezos' other company that people don't talk about, which is AWS, is a government contractor. They made $82 billion at a 40% margin. Jeff Bezos is a billionaire because he's a government contractor. Because he has a sustainable business that will never go anywhere, which then allows him the ability to invest his money in Amazon, which is his sexy business that everyone likes. So I use that example and I tell people, listen, you can be a Jeff Bezos and you can have a sexy business and you can do the fun things, but you need something sustainable. And sustainability is not talked about in our communities at all.
Yeah, you just gave me a whole fucking different perspective here. That was
I mean,
deep.
and I'm just using, I can use Elon Musk. I can use Elon Musk with Tesla and SpaceX. I can use any billionaire that you can think of. I can show you their sexy business and their sustainable business. And 9 times out of 10, all of their sustainable businesses.
You just cracked the code. That's the code. That's the fucking code. If you have the government contracting as your main source, but then you have your sexy as for whatever that is, that's the code.
So I got a question for you then. When you say that, I'm gonna catch you. real quick. So if you know that, what is your sexy front facing business outside of the government contracting?
Real estate.
Okay, I got you.
So when now everything that I do like online, when I start to talk now, I'm positioned and talking about the real estate stuff and the things like that, because that's something that people can feel, they can catch on to. They'll be like, oh, that makes sense. If I'm constantly pushing government contracting, it's not going to make sense.
You know what makes sense?
People
if you pull up,
have a fear of the government,
listen,
and sometimes that's a stigma.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
But it's all about sometimes the way you think about things too. Because I ain't gonna lie, if I was you and I made all that money off selling toilet paper, I would literally pull up in a row. Listen, I would pull up in the Cullinan, right, with 1,000 rolls of toilet paper falling out, and I would have somebody film me getting out like, yeah, well, the toilet paper now might be sexy, but this 500,000 in the car is sexy, and this is how I got it, right?
But
and
see, those are the type of things that you do for your course. But
Right.
you know, 'cause
Right.
that's kind
That's
of
the
the more
marketing
front facing
aspect.
business. Like that's what he specializes in. But Carlton,
But you guys, so there's two ways to look at what you guys are talking about, though. I like what you guys are talking about because you're talking about like a philanthropic side. You're talking about talking to the youth, kids. I'm all about that. I like that, and I think that's important. But the flip side to what you're saying is, how do you feel when people don't recognize your success because it's not sexy? Feel great about that. You know why? I don't want you to fucking recognize my success. One, for liability purposes, and two, keep playing over here in the sexy BS, right? Let me have all this space
Straight
to
up.
myself. I'm only looking out, honestly, if it's not philanthropic or charitable, who am I worried about? I'm worried about my household, my family. I don't want everybody knowing how to do what I do. I don't want everybody thinking that what I do is sexy. You know what I mean? Like, otherwise,
And it's damn so ain't
especially
easy.
in today's time.
But look, bro, like peep game. I'm about to say, and then also y'all are elders, respectfully, but it's levels to money. If you look at them, neither one of their ass got a chain on, but they do have expensive watches on. Like every,
Because,
like yeah.
when you start to really moving and you're starting to get money, what he's saying is very true. Like, you don't want to move real crazy. Like, you don't want to be too flashy. You don't want to be too loud. You don't want to look too crazy, because the people with real money, they're not gonna respect it. They're gonna look at you like you a clown. Like, what you trying to do? Like look at us both. Like, we ain't got no designers on hard. I mean, I got gallery department sweatshorts, but they sweatshorts. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He got Chucks on. I got some Air Max on. Like, we chilling. When we go places, people look at us and it's like, it's not a threat. Right. You come in there with 1 million labels on, chained up. Look, they're gonna be like, man, what's this? Like,
The stigma that's attached to
Yeah.
it.
Unfortunately, y'all don't have to. Great things. Y'all don't have to market to y'all customer. You know what I'm saying? When we pull up, you know,
You
our,
have to.
our check depends on how we look.
1000%.
Unfortunately,
And I had to learn that.
Yeah.
I've had to learn that, and now I have a level of respect for it, because I've learned that over the last year, that there are a certain group of people, there's a demographic that want to see that.
Right.
And so
I hate it.
it's disgusting.
I wish I ain't have to wear
I'm
this.
going to government contracts.
That's why you need the
Sorry.
government contract in the back.
Exactly.
That's why I asked him the question I asked.
Yeah, no.
Like the universe, like shout out to Brendan Boyd,
Yeah,
and
Brendan Boyd. That's
thank
a
you.
top brother.
I'm like, he knew what he was doing setting this up. Hey.
What you was gonna say though, Carla?
No, just to clarify though, I mean, we have different type of business. In my business, we have to put on. We put on a full
Oh, yeah,
spectacle.
no.
Oh, y'all pulling
for
a full
social
thing.
media.
Oh,
Okay.
no.
I mean,
They put on.
So what? So if you're,
I mean, look.
what
my
is a
business,
marketing
it's
budget
important
for
that
a franchise like that large?
It's interesting because, I mean, we do a lot of organic. For me, and our concept is very important that we are authentic, right? And so authenticity can beat massive marketing budgets, right? And so what I mean by that is I'm in the wellness and aesthetic business, you know? So we have to be fit. We got to have nice skin. We got to take care of our bodies. We got to take care of our health. That's the marketing right there. So my franchisees, my staff, we need to be active. We
Be
need
the
to
part.
in the gym. We need to practice what we preach. That right there is part of the marketing budget alone. And then we just need to broadcast that, right? So our advertising budget is significant for the franchisor overall, but for our franchise stores, it doesn't have to be as much because we're really selling ourselves.
You're low key cheating. You're low key cheating because everybody worked their workout and stuff. So you already you got a leg up on your marketing because like everybody understands what the perception is when they're supposed to look at the business.
And the perception's everything, and that's what we're talking about. You know, you're talking about watches and stuff like that. You know, we're micro messaging our signals all the time. You know what I mean? So my whole objective is to have things that make you want to come talk to me, right? So I utilize my wife. I utilize my kids. They're always in brand. My wife's in shape. Everybody's got their Botox done. Everybody's had their facial. It's a non-negotiable, right?
It's a non-negotiable.
I'm gonna go work for him.
Right? And so what happens if we're out, you know, someone's just like curious. They're going to want to come talk about something. They want to ask, how did you stay in shape? How did you get your skin like that? Why doesn't your wife have wrinkles or whatever it is? Or like, you know, you made a mention about watches. Watches are a micro message in our game. And especially, you know, you're talking about big money and private equity. There's no gaudy, you know, jewelry and all that stuff going on, but the watch is a micro message. It's sending a signal. You know what I mean?
Rolex, and then sometimes you like old school Cartier or some classic watches.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, my dad always told me a man can be defined by shoes in his watch.
Absolutely.
As long as you got a nice, clean pair of shoes, ain't got to be nothing fancy.
Fine,
Clean pair of
yeah,
shoes
pretty
and a
much
good
good.
watch, respectable.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's funny you brought that up too, because like the watches that I've seen that are really crazy, it's not like the Richard Milles and all that stuff. It's the old classic Patek with the leather band that nobody knows what that is, and that's the biggest watch in the
costs
room.
more than all.
That's the big
of them.
flex. That's the big flex.
Yeah.
The plain. That's why I be telling people, I was like, it's the plain ones.
Right.
Yeah.
So
plain
look,
ones.
so I want to know your beauty in the struggle. Talk to me about how you got into this.
I didn't know some of what he shared just now. It almost sounds like copying, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
You know, very similar story. I went to Howard. I was a delinquent.
Okay,
I was in business
HBCU.
school, and I was very social. And I just happened to throw really great parties, and my parties turned into my focus in my business. So I started doing a lot of music promotion for Diddy and Bad Boy and all these guys. So at night, I'm putting up, you know, all the posts that you see littered all over New York and DC. Like, I'm doing that at night, promoting parties on the weekend, and I didn't care about school anymore. My parents kind of came back, wrangled me in. It was like, look, man, are you going to graduate or what? I put that on hold. But then I took all those principles from doing that and I applied it to my career. So my first career was really in banking. And so I took marketing and promotion from the streets into banking.
Banking in New York.
Banking in Atlanta. I moved to Atlanta.
Okay.
I couldn't afford to live in DC anymore as an adult. DC went to the roof, regentrification like crazy. I mean, like, so the worst blocks in the world had puppies and strollers on it. You know, it's time to go. You know, I was 23 years old, moved to Atlanta. And so I got into banking, and I started learning banking. I started learning money and strengthening, you know, my sales skills and my financial literacy. And got to a point like Kevin where I was doing really, really well. I had 23 homes. I had a great house that I was living in. Wife's employed, I'm employed, everything's cool. 08, boom. Everything crashed.
I hated
Wife
08.
lost her job.
Right.
Probably a week after I lost my job. Had to pretty much get rid of everything, and then I filed bankruptcy. And then I went back to school, got an MBA, and then I went back out, started another business. Had my son, and I got scared. And I was like, man, you know, I was so scared. My business was just taking off. I had an insurance and real estate business. It was just taking off, and I was like, man, I don't want to disappoint my family. So I was like, I need to go get a job. So I went to work for Merrill Lynch as a financial advisor, and I couldn't cooperate with corporate. I was always leaving my job to go to the gym and stuff like that. And so I went to work for a private equity company called Colony Capital.
Private equity again.
Yeah, and I learned some of what Kevin was saying, and I was like, oh shit, this is different. And these guys are different, and they come from somewhere different. And I wasn't a part of that, and I was an employee at the time. But at the time, I was comfortable, and I made a bet with my wife. My wife wanted to move up in her job. I was like, and she wanted to move. And I was like, I don't want to move. I don't want to move from Atlanta. She wanted to move back down here. And I was like, I don't want to do that. And she was like, well, I put my life on pause for you. It's time for you to reciprocate. So I was like, look, if your job was going to give you this salary, if they'll move you, if they're going to give you all these benefits, I just set the bar really high.
Yeah.
I was like, then we'll move. I was like, this is not going to happen anyway.
They gave it all to her.
And she came home, and they said yes to everything. I was like, when you got to go? She was like, 30 days.
God damn.
So she moved down here. I was living in Atlanta by myself, couldn't get a job to save my life. Nobody would hire me. Down here is a different market than Atlanta. There's some other things. I'm not going to, I'm not going to go into
Overqualified.
why I didn't get a job down here. But yeah, I was overly qualified for whatever I was doing. So I finally took a job to get down here. Back in banking, it was like an 8-year step back for me.
Okay.
And I woke up every day and I was literally depressed. I would get up and I would like be like crying on the bed, like one of those pharmaceutical commercials, just like holding my head. And I had to go put on a suit every day. And I was just like, you know what? I told my wife, I was like, screw this. I'm gonna either just go be a bartender, or I'll do anything. I'll just go rent jet skis on the beach. I just can't do this anymore. And I started having people from my industry just coming in as clients, and so I'd be helping them out. And I was like, oh, I didn't know there was like a lot of money in that. And then I thought back to the one thing that I was doing that really made me happy was I was on testosterone therapy, and testosterone therapy changed my life. And it just, I don't know what your spiritual beliefs are.
No, can you elaborate on what testosterone therapy
So
is?
testosterone replacement therapy, there's a big problem now for most males that you have a massive decline in testosterone and sex hormones now due to your food, your environment, a lot of different factors. And so where, let's just say 20, 30 years ago, you would have been 1,000, most men now are under 500. Half, literally over 50% of the men that our fathers and our grandfathers were. And so when you go, you do lab testing, you find out there's a deficiency, and when you replace that and you go back to that 1,000 number, you are now, a top male, 100% alpha, fully restored, able to put on muscle, able to think clearly, able to attack your work, and it's life-changing. And so all these people were coming into my office, doctors, pharmacists, estheticians, everything that I do in my business, and I was like fucking off on my job. I didn't care about I was like literally interviewing them like, oh, so you do what? And I just started thinking, I told my wife, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna take this risk and I'm just gonna try this. And my business partner I have now, he was training me for a bodybuilding show. And we had known each other for like a month. And I was like, because this one guy came into the office who owned a compound pharmacy. That's where we get our testosterone from. And he was like, look, man, I see what you're trying to do. He's like, if you want to open a business like this, I advise you to have at least 50 people to start. If you don't know 50 people, don't do this. And I was so desperate, man. I was like, I don't know 50 people here. I just moved here. I don't know anybody. But I was like, this guy that I'm training with, he knows everybody. And so I was working.
Your network is your network.
Yeah,
100%.
And so I was like, I put a plan together, and I was desperate. And I was like, hey man, I called him up one day. I was like, hey, can you meet me at Starbucks real quick? And he was like, for what? Like, you're just my client. Like, I'm just training you. Like, we're not boys or anything. I was like, look, I just need to talk to you.
He's like, don't make this weird, bro.
Yeah. I was like, I just need to talk to you. He's like, well, my son's with me right now. I was like, I don't care, dude. I was in a suit and tie. I was like, just meet me at Starbucks over in Coconut Creek. And he met me, and I was like, look, man, I've been working on this thing. I don't know anybody. You're into this space. I think it could work. And he was like, okay. Just like that.
It's okay.
He said, okay.
Meaning like good okay or sarcastic okay?
He was like, okay.
Hey, that's a good
like,
okay.
That's crazy.
He's like, I'll try it. He's like, I'll try it. He was like, I don't have a lot of money right now. I was like, don't worry about it. I was like, I'll get you a whole bunch of credit cards. I was like, what's your credit score? He's like, 800. I was like, okay, bet.
Oh shit, we there.
Got him a whole bunch of credit cards, swiped them through PayPal, and we opened the business.
Hey,
for
the record,
get that?
don't do that.
I love talks like this because these are the stories that people don't hear. Like,
Yeah.
they'll see like all of our successes and see the businesses, and that's the part of, not to bash social media, but that's one of the parts that I hate is like, nobody's evoking the real conversation. Like, how did you get to this point?
Right.
Like, talking about those things. Like, they'll tell you, oh, just this is what I did, and then leave out all of this.
They just gonna show the Lambo. That's all they
here's
gonna
the
do.
thing.
Your
I think
rival. No one-
we're headed in the direction of authenticity now, though, because
And that's why I
we're
like it
tired
now.
of we're tired of the bullshit.
I'm ready for everybody to get exposed.
No. Everybody, no, listen. This is a time where people are getting exposed the most.
So many.
You know what I'm saying? Because we're tired of being scammed. We're tired of looking at that guy that we think has it all, but can't even drive to work. You know what I mean? Or whatever. It's like, it's shit's
You're
done.
absolutely right, and I think it's really important because here's the thing, with what he's saying, I don't mind sharing any of this stuff with people because even though what you're saying is, I think it's right. You have a lot of people that are really hungry to hear the reality of it, but it's cool. I could send the whole blueprint. I could tell you all the sacrifice, right? Most people aren't going to do it.
You're not gonna do it.
Yeah.
And the thing that really pisses me off that kind of adds noise to our space is you have two different people who are also adding noise. You have the ones that are not doing it for real, but they make it look really good. The ones that are stunning and it's fake. and you got the mommy daddy money, right? Where
That's a big one.
right? They're like, how did you create this business? Like,
Yeah.
like the Bole guy. Sorry, Bole guy.
Bowling. We love
Bole
bowling.
guy's like, yeah, I started this business from scratch. Your dad founded Outback. You know what I'm saying?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the Outback son.
It's a lot
And
of trust
so-
fund baby money out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. I'm going to tell you straight. I really don't like that. Like, tell the truth. Tell the truth where you got your down payment for your house from. Tell the truth how you live in this neighborhood and your wife doesn't work. Tell the truth about that. That's bullshit to me. And so I really, really respect people who have stories like
Yeah.
Kevin. I'm sorry. Maybe I have a chip on my shoulder. But if you didn't get it like that, and you don't have what it takes to get it like that, just stay over here and allow us to keep doing
But you know what it is?
But
I'm gonna
that's
be honest.
that's almost every
That's
wealthy
a lot,
individual.
yeah.
That's Gates, Buffett, Elon, Bezos. All of them had all their parents had
But
money.
I'm gonna be honest though, when I'm hearing you talk, that chip is you. That chip is your marketing. That chip is the person that it makes. I feel that. You know what I mean? Because just like
Just aggressive.
no. It's not even that. No, but
Alpha
that,
male.
but when you telling me your
That's what it
story, it's
is,
like
though.
you were down and then you gonna figure it out and you like no, you gonna meet me right now. Like that chip is the thing
Yeah.
that moves you. And if more people had a fucking chip, they'd fucking start moving.
Yeah, and hey, you said aggressive. Honestly, I don't want it if it's not aggressive. I don't want to work
Can we
with you
get
if
some
it's not
buttons, bro?
aggressive.
Yeah, we don't want that shit if it's not aggressive, man.
Yeah, that's what it takes, man. That's really what it takes to operate out here is aggression. And I tell my daughter, I got a 22-year-old daughter, and I'm on her ass every day. And I'll be like, the other day I asked her to go run and get my keys. I left my keys in the gym. I'm capable of walking to go get my keys. She walked to get my keys. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing? She's like, what? I said, run to get my keys. You know what I'm saying? And I expect you to run everywhere, and I expect you to attack everything with a sense of urgency. And if you do not have a sense of urgency, again, you need to just go to the right lane and let us pass you, because all of this is a sense of urgency. You know what I'm saying? And most people, they lose a lot of momentum in their lives because they have zero sense of urgency the way they attack anything. They're just like, I'll get to it, whatever. I'm going to walk instead of run.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's real important in today's society. I think everybody's fucking lazy now. Like, it's so hard to find good people to even work for you these days.
Oh, that's-
everybody's a star. Everybody's on Instagram. It's like, who wants to put in the real fucking work? We have talks even with our team, like, yo,
Hey, I'm about to say, tell them how I be with the films. Everybody want to be. You supposed to be holding the camera. Be like, hey, yo, bro, you want to hear my mixtape?
yeah, real, bro.
Crazy with that. That's funny you say that. So when I got into the whole internet space, like I'm trying to find shooters, right? And it was like every camera guy I go through, they want to be the
They wanna be the
All right,
man,
so
yeah.
the camera,
Bro,
but then
bro.
telling somebody else, hey, you know I can do such and such and such for you. It's like, bro, hold the camera.
Listen.
And this is my industry. When it
Every
comes to those
single
guys,
person.
listen, okay, so y'all know who Gilly the Kid and Wallow?
Yeah,
okay,
of course.
so those are my OGs. They put me Gilly put me in the industry 10 years ago, right? It's really my OG. OG, I ain't gonna put you out. Listen, every camera guy that he's ever fucked with, he has literally like, nigga, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Like, get the fuck out. Like, cause these camera guys, bro, are so disgusting. And and so that's a problem. And one of the problems, the solution that I wanted to bring is, I got my course dropping right this week, and it's called Guerrilla Filmmaker. And I'm like, yo, I have to fix these camera guys' mentality is so fucked up. It's like, bro, there's a lot of money in this shit. And there's guys like yourself that could use really good work. Just shut the fuck up, know what you're doing, and collect.
So I think I think one of the problems that I've seen is that everybody wants another person's success, right? God got a plan for each and every one of us.
Right.
God planned for you, him, and me, 3 completely different plans.
Right.
But it don't mean we all can't have success. But my success and his success and her success could be all different.
Right.
Everybody nowadays is chasing the other man's success. And so like those camera dudes, they'll see somebody doing something and they want to get on that same level.
Right.
But to what you're saying is true. My man, just be the best cameraman that you can
Right.
be and live your truth.
Because you know what comes with that? By being next to you and by doing the job,
You're going to elevate.
the gems will just get sprinkled
gonna keep
onto
coming,
you.
right.
Just be thorough.
But the problem is they get so worried and consumed with another dream that's not their dream,
Right.
that they miss their entire blessing. When it's like God blessed you to hold the camera.
Yup.
Hold the camera, my man, and then pick up everything that's coming along with it and be the best cameraman that you can be, and you will elevate.
100%.
But if you're so worried about holding the camera with this hand and then trying to do what I'm doing in this hand, you're not doing nothing at that point.
So that leads me to this question, right? And me and wifey always talk about this. Can you build more than 2 things at once?
Maybe, I mean, hey, I don't believe in that. Focus on one thing at a time. Focus, no.
Yes,
Very
exactly.
few people can do that well. And
do it well.
No, focus on one thing. And I don't know if Kevin would agree with this or not, but I have found success in obsessive tunnel vision on one thing. Nothing else matters except for my kids. Nothing. I don't give a fuck about anything, dude. Anything other than my one mission. And that's where I see gaps in competition and gaps in other people's success, is because you're over here trying to do all this shit, bro. I am doing one thing and I literally don't care about anything else. Damn. And when I see people like that focus, that laser focus is what gets people to that, man. And if you don't have that and you're distracted, very few people are able to accomplish that.
He got the tangent.
He got the
energy right
I
there.
cannot.
I don't want to lose my freedom though, bro.
I need Rhea to see that clip right
exactly.
there, because like I be
No,
trying
seriously,
to,
that's
for
a
real,
real
People
bro,
need to
nigga,
pay attention to that,
I
'cause
sleep like
people
4
think they can
hours
do
a
this.
night,
For sure,
bro,
for sure.
comfortably. Sometimes I be like, I slept too long, because like, bro, it's all about the grind for me. I got 3 boys, and I have several businesses that I have to attend to, and I'm like going out for what? Partying for what? I'm like, no, grind. Like I do that shit when I feel like I'm set.
It's a time for that. You have to put in a season. A season is
Yeah.
And then
3 months,
what I
6
want
months.
everybody to really pay attention to, what they really just said, right? Being laser focused. And it's something that we all struggle with from time to time. But when you have that laser focus and knock all the other bullshit out, you can literally beat everybody else that's focusing on more than one thing. Because a lot of people are trying to juggle. You know what I'm saying? So if you can lock in on that one thing and be the greatest at that one thing, everything else gonna be a byproduct of that. The money's a byproduct, the wins are a byproduct, the new business ventures are a byproduct. But if you could just focus in, that's gonna be the difference between you and the competition.
Absolutely. That's like that God mode, man. You know, like on the Matrix, that's what it looks like when everything slows down, when you're laser focused, man. It really feels and looks like that. And my success was created through literally telling my wife, I'm not doing anything else. I didn't leave the house. I literally went in the liquor cabinets. I threw all the liquor
Fuck
away.
with him, bro.
Because I'm getting cussed out for what you do.
People got pissed off. You know, they would like bring gifts and stuff like liquor, all that stuff. I threw all the liquor away. I told everybody, I cannot go out, period. I don't care. We missed everything. Not going out. I went to church. I went to the gym. I went back home. That's all I did for 8 months straight to build the foundation of this business. And that's
Can we
where
get some
it came
applause?
from.
Can we get some applause for this guy, man?
It was 8 months.
Come on, man.
Let's go.
I love that shit.
8 months, you guys. That was his season.
8 months.
Yeah, and we're still in that season, but it looks different now. But it was that incubator stage
Right.
and I'm talking about nothing. It was pure discipline. I've never gotten back into that stage, by the way. I've never been able to get back into that place. But it's also built on desperation, right? It was built on that was the only way to create that. And so I tell people, like, if you're ready to really do what you say you want to do, it starts like that. And you can create $1 billion company in Starbucks, right? But everything else has to be put on hold. Everything.
Yeah, it's a whole. I tell a lot of my students, and I teach a lot of people, it's all mindset. Like, don't worry about all the other stuff. Fix your mind, fix your mentality, fix why you're doing stuff, understand how to do it, put that structure in your life, and then everything else will fall in place.
So look, for everybody that's watching, some people are like, yo, how do I fix my mindset? Like, what are the steps to really locking in on that tunnel vision?
He's in that step. You know what I'm saying? Like, you look. So just like you gave credit to some mentors of yours, a lot of people aren't willing to invest in themselves, right? So Kevin does a course, right? If you want to do, if what Kevin is talking about today sounds interesting to you, but you're not willing to buy the course, if you're not willing to fly out here, you're not willing to go to where you need to go, then you're not going to get that mindset. You have to be willing to give up something. You gave a shout out to, I guess,
Wallon
Gilly. For me, I had some of that, but I went, like, Eric Thomas was coming to town here before I went into franchising. Eric Thomas came to town. I just started making good money a couple years ago.
Okay.
At the time, I was not making good money. And I was like, it was on Super Bowl Sunday. And I was like, man, I can't really afford the ticket at the time.
Okay.
And I asked my wife, I was like, what do you think I should do? She was like, I mean, if you want to go, go. And then I came back and they're like, oh, well, they just hit me. There's a VIP section that you can do. You can sit in the front row. You get to go to dinner with them afterwards. What do you think I should do? I don't really have $1,000 right now. You know, my business was open. I didn't really have $1,000. I couldn't spend $1,000.
Yeah.
And she was like, if you really think that this is going to elevate you, do it. I trust you to do it. So I was like, shit, man. I spent $1,000. I sat on the front row. I got invited to dinner with Eric Thomas afterwards. We went to dinner in Miami with some other people, and they were like, hey, we're putting together this group, this mastermind group. Would you want to come? And I was like, sure. They're like, it's going to be it's $2,000 a month. And I was like, whoa.
So now you hit with another.
I was like, oh shit.
Quick
So I went and
funnel
talked to my
right
wife
at
about
dinner.
that. And I was like, something just said, do it. And it changed my life. It put me in the room with people, and I was ashamed to be there because I guess what do you call it?
Imposter syndrome.
or
Yeah.
something. I was like, shit, these dudes are talking crazy numbers and stuff. I was nowhere close to where I was today, but they put us in these mansions. All of our meetings were in mansions, and everything was big. The food was big. The conversations were big. And 2 years out of that, everything that I've been challenged to do, everything that we talked about started happening. Everything.
Damn.
Mindset was completely elevated, and what was okay before was no longer okay. The standards and the integrity that we were challenged with in that program, because he's very high on integrity, when we make those sacrifices and actually started being honest with yourself and everybody around you, everything started to come into place, and it was from a sacrifice, financial sacrifice. It was a time sacrifice because we flew all around the country, and it was being along with people who had mindsets that I wanted. And like you said, the cameraman, it rubbed off on you. Just being around there rubbed off on me, and my business went through the roof. And so I went from 2 locations at the time, just starting my franchise, to now we're 30 open, 110 in development. And it was from shifting mindset and being around people. It was from being around people who have the mindset that you're talking about.
And I love that because we're big
Big ups
on.
to ET as well, bro.
Yeah, shout out to
He's
ET.
great, man. Honestly, I can't say anything but good things about him.
And you know what's dope? We praise paying people to learn, because me personally, I'm a pro fuck school type of guy. Fuck
You
institution.
gonna say him stop
I'm just saying, bro. Institution, bro. I'm just saying. You know,
I say that every day. I say it every day.
I don't give a fuck. Everybody that went to school, Pete, can I get a job? Like,
I'm
what
a
the fuck, bro?
college dropout.
Listen,
I get it.
now, granted, what TD Jakes did say is, if it's not the thing, it can lead to the thing, right? So I understand that college, just by me going that 2 years, led to what I wanted to do. Cool. But what I'm saying is the mindset of college is bullshit. What he's saying is correct. Pay up if you want to be something. Go find out who's the top 5 in it and pay them. And if you can't pay them, pay the next guy, and then to get to that guy, because that's the way in.
Amen.
And you gotta, for me, like the mindset shift, I tell people you gotta take the money out of it first. The problem
yeah.
is a lot of people lead with the money, and if you lead with the money, it's never gonna work.
Yeah.
Amen.
So I tell people focus on, to me, there's 4 pillars of success. There is spiritual health and success, mental, physical, and then the financial.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And so if you focus on, like mentally, putting yourself in the best mental state that you can get into, really, like he said, understanding yourself, understanding your purpose, figure that out. Spiritual, get closer to something. Understand that there's something out there greater than you, that you are not the end all be all to everything in this world. Ground yourself spiritually. Physically, get your health together. Because if you go out there and you make all this money, but then you have a fucking heart attack the next day, did it matter?
100%.
Right? So for me, changing the mindset to get to the bag is to start working on all of those first. And I guarantee you, the reason why, and for people out there listening, I guarantee you, one of the reasons why you're not making the money you want is you have neglected one of those other 3 areas.
Amen.
If you neglect one of those 3 areas, the money will never come. That's why you see people on that hamster wheel, like just chasing. Or you ever seen people that get money and they can't never keep money? Yeah. We all know the people.
Bing bang.
The motherfucker just stay getting a bag, but then he always broke.
Right.
But then keep a bag, but he always broke. It's because they're lacking somewhere else. So because of that deficiency in one of those other 3 areas, they can get all the financial blessings in the world, and it won't matter because they're deficient in one of those other 3 areres. Yeah.
And I got to piggyback on that because what he's saying is so true. And I'm thinking back, the mind, body, soul thing. They put that together for a reason. Mm-hmm. Absolutely true, man. And that's exactly what he's saying right now. And again, look, I'm not like super Christian over here or whatever, but I do go to church religiously. I go to church. You know, the motto of my church is "No perfect people allowed." But I started going to church also at the same time that I went into that tunnel where I cut everybody off. And I don't care if you're a Muslim, I don't care if you're Jewish, whatever it is, the coaching and the mindset that I was getting from the pastor to keep going, keep integrity, right? Don't be lying to people. Don't steal, even if somebody's not watching you. You know what I'm saying? Like all these different things, you know what I'm saying? Like was coaching a part of me that helps me in my business today. It's why I have a good reputation today. And the reputation is also, it's very valuable, you know, as a tangible asset, you know? And so he's exactly right. And we're talking about sacrifice before we get to the mind, body, and soul. If you can't control these aspects you're talking about, if the working out is too hard for you, if going to church on Sunday or the mosque or the temple, if you can't get out of bed, bro,
Apply at Walmart right now.
Right.
Apply at fucking Walmart.
Amen.
That's what I tell people though.
Discipline
Like,
matters.
so I got a motto that I always say I'm gonna turn into a podcast one day, and it's winners win, right? Winners have a winning mentality, no matter what. A winner gonna always win, but a loser gonna always lose, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if that's who you are, identify with that. Like you say, just apply at Walmart. Like it's okay. Like it's cool.
No, it's cool. It's nothing wrong. Listen, that's what you wanted to be. That's what you wanted
But
to
see,
be.
that's the other problem with society and today is we project this message to people like it's not okay, right? So like you're telling them, oh no, you can't go do this. If you work at Walmart, you a sucker. If you work at Burger King, you a hurt. No, you're not. You're just somebody that works at Walmart.
You know what it is?
Living your truth working at Walmart.
I think we're in competition with too many things here. Like, you know, we're on Instagram and we see something and we're envying people's lives and shit. And it's like, yo.
People don't. It's so strategically designed, bro. Because who controls most of the social media platforms? Most of these people contract with the government. Like Meta has bought damn near every social media platform there is, and also government contracts. So when you just think about the lack of control and where the money really comes from, like you really need to be able to assert yourself in a position to win. And like I really favor his position, bro. Like I grew up in the private sector. Both my parents Marines.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I love that type of business.
Yeah, it just it makes sense.
But I think, you know, one of the biggest takeaways for me, you know, was, you know, I deal in the industry, in the music industry, right? You know, and one of the biggest things is if you can have your business and you know, have it do what it do, and that's your sexy, right? That's what people see, and that's good. But if you can have that baseline of the government contracting, you're fucking set.
Yeah, but it could be anything. Like I said, I talk government contracting because it's something simple. My thing when I tell people about government contracting is it's not sexy, but it's simple.
And the government don't pay late.
Huh?
The government don't pay late.
Hell
And
no,
they can't.
but you better
illegal,
but you better perform because they gonna come get their bread.
But then that's when it goes back to like what Carlton was saying. It goes back to the integrity. It goes back to who you are, your moral compass. The reason why people don't do government contracting is because they want to do shady shit.
Yeah.
And they want to be lazy and they want to cut corners and they don't want to do everything that it takes. You can't come into this industry if you want to cut corners. There is no cutting corners. There's certain steps that have to be done for you to register your business. So like we were talking about earlier, you're talking about like the DUNS number.
Yeah.
So like right now to get a cage code, you don't need a Dun & Bradstreet number anymore, right?
Fact.
So you need to have a business, a legitimate business that you incorporate. Doesn't matter what structure. Or if you don't want to, that's fine. You can do business with the government as a sole proprietor. Mm-hmm. I don't advise it, but you can do that, right? Set up your structure. Then you're going to submit that into SAM. You're going to submit all of your banking information. You're going to submit, so you have to give the government all of your info. A lot of people don't want to do that. So they count themselves out. Why? Because they don't want the structure.
Do people compete for contracts?
I was just
There is competition, but there's also non-competition.
Okay.
So you can compete. Competition is big. Competition is necessary because that's what thrives the market. So that's what fuels pricing. If you don't have competition, then there's no barometer on pricing. Pricing is all over.
How does
Is
the
that when you're
government?
bidding?
That's the bidding part, yeah.
Okay,
So
that's the
competition is
bidding
good.
part.
So how does the government actually look at, like, what do they look at when they want to take a contract? Like, because I know they're not looking at social media. Like, oh, he has a Rolls Royce, I'm gonna hire him. Like, what do the government look at?
So what happens is the government has a need, right? So they'll have a specific need, something that they need to have done. Then they'll put that need online on a platform like sam.gov.
Okay.
And they'll tell the market, hey, we have this that we need to get done, whether it's a product or service. And then us within the market, we will compete. They'll put set-asides on it, or they'll do it as a full and open. So they'll say, okay, we're only going to compete to women-owned businesses or veteran-owned businesses or hubs-owned businesses, right? So then the market will respond and say, okay, we can do that work, and then we'll bid on it. The beautiful thing about government contracting is it's not all price-based.
Okay.
So they don't award based on price alone. the government awards based on what they call best value. So they're going to make an award to somebody who they deem to be the best value for the government. Price can be a determining factor, but there can also be other factors. Past performance, which it can be your experience, it could be location, it could be makeup of your team. So there's a lot of things that go into it, which is why I love it, because you don't necessarily have to be the cheapest person all the time, which is the complete opposite of the public sector.
Yes.
In the public sector, everybody, they want to get the job done as cheap as they can get it.
Yep.
So with the government, I love it because if you can go in there and you can validate to the government why your price is not the lowest, but you are the most qualified to do it, then they'll go with you. And that, to me, that's a perfect business model. Imagine always getting the number that you want, never taking a short on anything.
Hey man, you don't gotta sell me. I'm with you. Shit. Hey, I'm over here thinking in my head like, God damn, I need to get brought numbers.
Hey, something he brought up though, I don't want you guys to skip over this. Something he brought up again, because all this stuff is really easy. If you notice, we're going back to the same principles. Everything we're saying is almost identical. And he brought up war dogs in the beginning of this as an example of government contracting. And he brought up people trying to get quick money and being shady. Well, what happened to those guys?
And that's what happened in War Dogs.
They did one thing wrong, right? Mm-hmm. They changed the packaging, right?
Yep.
That's illegal. Thought they weren't going to get caught. Now they're in jail, right? And that's the thing that I see across the board is everybody wants to do this quick. They want to do it easy, right? And that's not sustainable. It's not sustainable in government contracting. It's not as sustainable in my business either. I know so many of my competitors who are in federal prison right now.
God damn.
Federal prison right now.
In the health industry?
That's
dude.
one of the worst, especially here in Florida.
In South Florida, when we're done, everybody watching this, Google this, right? Google all the Medicare, Medicaid fraud. Google all the genetic testing that they're sending off for billing your insurance for millions of dollars. Google all these guys in the wellness industry who are breaking all these laws, right?
Shit.
Now, it looks great because they are driving around in Cullinans. They all have these lifestyles. I know guys, man, I mean, you name a car, they got it. You name a watch, they got it. Can't figure out how is it that these guys are out all the time. I'm sitting here in the office like, freaking out, right?
Yeah.
Well, it always comes to light, right? I could point to an office right now. Guys are in federal prison waiting to take over office right there at your corner, okay? And it's because of the same.
Damn.
I would have never thought. That's crazy.
Yes, big money, man, but you got to be able to resist that, right? And I'm pretty sure in Kevin's industry, they'll give you some leeway. They'll let you hang yourself. And they'll probably renew a contract, but it's going to get found out. The audit trail is always going to lead
That's
to
what
you.
happened in War Dogs. That's how they messed up.
Yep.
Like they hit a big lick. They hit a crazy lick. And but then they got greedy because it was like, damn, we left money on the table. How can we recoup some of that money that we and then that's
And what my thing is, what good is it to have all the success and have all these things and have all this if you just gonna get it taken away in the long run?
Because you didn't.
They don't think about that.
You went and you forgot about one part of that equation: mind, body, soul. Right. So maybe the mind and the body are working towards it,
Right.
but you forgot about the soul. You can't get around the soul if you if you have no integrity, and there is this karma. The Watson dude talks about this stuff all the time. The laws of the universe.
Yeah.
When you break those laws,
It's coming.
It's short-term gain. Yeah.
It's coming. Yeah.
Bro, first off, I appreciate everything you all said. And then actually, this is probably the closest I've been to some private equity people. No, I just think about like people don't understand what that is within our community. I understand the experience that you all had and how that can impact somebody that comes from our backgrounds. Yeah. And just like being able to be around that type of money, how it can inspire you and like how you just know like, oh, this shit's possible. At least to an extent, because we know like some things, But
And the thing is,
understand.
and the biggest thing I like about you guys' business is that for the people that's watching, for the kids that's growing up, anybody, if you have the right mindset and those qualities,
that's all it is.
You can do it. Like
for real, you need to be getting like both of you all need to be getting highlighted more on social media because
100%.
I'm like I said, I personally would teach my child what it is that you do because my
Easy.
family, and then also with our tribal status, my family is going to government contracts. Some of them already do. And like I just see the benefit in being able to, same way how you said your father got into it, being able to pass that down for generations on out. And I feel like my brand, one of my brands is Trust Fund Baby, and I feel like that's one of the easiest ways in order to create transgenerational wealth, especially because it's already set aside money for people like me.
But the biggest thing is, we really have to start highlighting those qualities, mind, body, and spirit. We don't highlight them enough in our community. We go out and we put these chains on and we do the whole hoorah shit, but we don't highlight that shit up. We don't talk about, mindset equal dollars. When I had lost 100 pounds, right? And on my journey, I was making the money the fastest I ever made in my fucking life.
Because you changed everything else.
Everything changed, right? And it's like, people don't understand, when you lock in dead focus on your mind and your body and spirit, the money's a byproduct of you getting right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
By you guys just talking about these concepts, fuck the, this is dope to do.
Geeked up, you see it?
No, I'm just saying, because I feel you. My fan base, bro.
I feel you.
My fan base. The reason why I even invested in jewelry and shit like that, because my fan base, when I walk in, they want to see the rapper. So they're like, oh, you rap? No, motherfucker, I'm a digital trapper.
No, I love that you say that because it's so true. But the problem is, like, in our communities, there's not enough people that are willing to say that.
Right.
So, like, you look at, like, conscious rap back in the day. People love conscious rap, but they couldn't bring them in. So like the shit that people like Common or like CeeLo or like, all these other people would say, it would be so dope if you listen to it, but because they didn't come across with that flash, nobody jumped into it.
Right.
So what you're saying is true. Like, you gotta have a change. You gotta have something to draw them in, and then once you get them in, be like, all right, listen here, motherfucker, check this out. And then you start giving it to them.
And honestly, that's where my brain comes in at.
Trust. I got this big dumbass. I teach.
He only got that because of me, by the way.
Bro, he had to down there force me. I went to private school, bro.
He teach finance, right? And I'm like, bro, and when we really got close, I said, bro, listen, these kids, bro, you have to get their attention before you can speak. Because no matter, you can pull up in a 98 Corolla and have 80 million in the bank, and I can pull in a rented Rolls Royce with $10 in the bank, and they ain't gonna listen to you.
We just seen that happen 20 times at the podcast.
Yeah.
100%.
That wasn't them car.
Yeah.
That's why I say it's hard for me to be in those types of rooms, because I just look and I be like, yo, this is crazy. But then what I found, to be honest with you, why I love the space, kind of piggybacking off of that, is that when people like us come in with that authenticity, the true authenticity, even those people that are faking can tell. So I get hit up so much by some of those people, like, yo, put me in the game, like how I really am.
Of course.
And I think it's dope.
It's because of your posture.
Because they know what time it is. Because then
posture. It's your posture.
Cause I'm not coming in that weirdo shit. Like, I'm not jumping out of rented Rolls Royce.
You can tell you're comfortable, and with that type of comfort, you be like, okay, that motherfucker got some money.
I think
It's funny, those guys, when they do that, it's really hard. Like, I've had that happen a couple of times too, and they hit you in their DM, and I'm like, man, these guys are jokes, because they'll be like, hey, what's up? Let's get on the phone real quick. And I'll be like, bro, like, it's like they want to learn what it is you do, but they want to learn it quick, and they're not willing to, again, change their lifestyle, go to sleep on time, wake up, be here. They want to like go be Adderalled out at the club, you know what I'm saying, drunk, and then hit you up like, yo, can I meet you real quick for lunch? Drop some gems so I can, it doesn't work like that, man. It takes,
fuck the free lunch, 48 laws of, that's one of my brands. Like, when you know your value, you will not allow somebody to pick your brain for a damn lunch.
And even in me and DJ's courses, right, our first section is mindset. And you're not even allowed to unlock the other sections until you complete this section. The documentary, The Secret's in there. There's a couple books in there. And if you don't get past this section, fuck the other section, because you ain't gonna win.
You're not gonna be ready.
Without the mindset, who gives a fuck?
No, if you start getting money and you don't have the right mindset, you're gonna set yourself up for the worst failure you've ever had.
And I don't think you guys understand what he just said. Really understand. Hold on, real quick. Really understand the shit. It's a difference between never having it and having it and losing it.
Yeah. If you don't know how to see, like me, I get up every day. I'm not worried. Cause you could take all my money, I'm gonna get it right back. Cause my mind is on the right thing. Like, I'm focused on what I'm doing, and I'm so good at what I do, I can make money. Like, I'm not worried about nothing, right? That's why, like, when 08 came and the stock market crashed, you see all them rich motherfuckers jumping out of buildings in New York. They was literally jumping out of buildings.
That shit was crazy.
They was literally killing themselves. You know why? Because their mindset wasn't right. They got some money, and then when they lost it, the money was their identity. They lost the money, they had nothing left. So they're like, why am I on this earth? Boom, let me take myself out. I would never, no matter how hard it gets, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm just saying that when you get to a certain point and your mindset is of such, and you're so in tune with yourself, it doesn't matter what happens to me throughout the course of the day. I'm so locked in that I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna smile, and I'm gonna hit the next day. And everything that happens, it's a test, it's a lesson, it's strength, it makes me strong. When you go to the gym, your muscles don't grow until they tear down.
So,
But you gotta have that mindset that once it starts hurting, you gotta hit that extra rep. That's where the growth comes in. That's what people don't wanna do. As soon as it starts hurting in life,
and that's
a
a painful sacrifice too, because a lot of your listeners, everybody's doing the doom scrolling. They're going through Instagram. What is it that you're looking at, right? So now you got the girl with the big ass, and you got the guy with the Bentley, and you got the funny hood videos or whatever.
Yeah.
You're actually programming yourself. So if you can look at your Instagram and just admit to yourself that this is all bullshit. You don't need to look at the girl with the ass. You don't need to look at the girl doing all this. Remove all that and then start inputting nothing but financial literacy, nothing but government contracting, nothing but spirituality and investing, all this stuff. Next thing you know, a month later, you're going to be talking different. You're going to be thinking different, Instead of, listening to the new Future album, why don't you get the Headway app and listen to a book a day? It's consolidated into 15 minutes, and what you find is that these things are programming you. So you can deprogram and reprogram yourself to get to this point, because like you said, that's a big problem. And if you don't have financial literacy, I can give you 50, 20, $30 million, you're going to lose it. First guy that looked at investing in my business, he's worth $80 million. He's liquid $70 million. I know this for a fact because I saw his financials.
Ooh.
Work out with this guy in the gym, older guy. And he told me, he's like, when you do transact in your business, when you do get that amount of money, he was like, the game is not over. He's like, because now every single day, your job is to protect it and keep it. And that's what most people can't do. And you don't understand how fast $80 million can go if you do not have financial literacy. If you think you can go buy your mom, a house just because, she needs an upgrade, or, your friends need help. You can't help anybody when you got $70 million. Your first priority is to be to protect that, and then figure out a way to deal with that before you go to helping people and do all these things, because it don't matter if it's 80, 100, $1 million, it'll be gone in a year if you don't have the foundation.
And can we talk
And
about
learn how to
one?
make more.
And we're gonna say one thing. When you scrolling, like you said, on social media, and you've seen all these people. Just so you know, 98% of these people are not fuck the broke shit. They're not living how they want to live. They're really sad. They go to sleep sad and they wake up sad.
That's broke, bro. Broken spirit,
Well, not
broken mind.
100%. You're absolutely right. 100%.
I know a lot of what people would deem to be famous or successful people based on those things, and those are some of the most miserable people I've ever met.
Yep.
They're some of the most unhappy individuals I've ever met, and it's sad for me to see, because I'm thinking that people are a certain way, and then when you're really around them and you see how sad they are,
It's crazy, man.
it's crazy.
But like you said, one of them, they're neglecting one of the ones.
They're neglecting one of those things.
ones.
And it's that sacrifice. It's almost like they used to say back in the day, like making a deal with the devil.
Yeah.
Like the money is the devil to me. So if you make that deal with the money and you say, fuck the other three things, I'm just gonna focus on getting the money,
Yeah.
it's a wrap. You're never gonna be happy.
And like before we wrap up, like one thing about what you said, the aspect of being able to set your social media to where you are managing what you're being programmed with, like literally unfollow some of these ratchet things and follow things that are conducive to you like developing your financial literacy and your business models.
I'm gonna take it one step further. That's gonna hurt people. You gotta do the same audit with your life.
Yeah.
Damn.
The people that's in your phone, the people that you talk to. Like when you really start to audit your entire life and realize that, you know what, I don't really need to talk to this person. And that could be family too. And you could tell them like, yo, I love you, but I gotta move differently. Or like I do it big. Like I limit my interactions with a lot of people. I limit what days I allow myself to be involved in certain things. Like family, I deal with family a certain way. I deal with friends a certain way. I deal with business a certain way. You gotta make all those changes within your life, because if you just allow people to come into your life and things to program you the wrong way.
Should I piggyback off of that? Even taking it a step deeper than that, I saw this documentary called The Word Exchange. And it was about reversing the words that you use for things that you normally use it for. So when I used to wake up, I don't know why, but I used to be like, fuck. Because I was either late or out, the alarm, and I didn't want to wake up. But then I started changing my word. That word fuck turned into, man, it's going to be an amazing day. You know what I mean? And all the words we use sometimes, like, you know, fuck you, or all these words, if we interchange those words with the exact opposite, is it like, yo, I hate that guy. No, I love that guy. Even though you really may not feel it, the word itself has the energy.
Yeah.
And when you're able to flip that energy, you'd be surprised what those seeds can plant and grow into.
Yeah.
There's life in.
But this episode right here, bro, I ain't gonna lie. This is a course in itself.
This shit is gonna be one of my favorite.
Like, I
episodes,
appreciate
bro.
y'all for coming on here, because we don't get we talk to a lot of different, people that's in different sectors, but y'all sector is, I think, the most important, because it's the
You
one
get
that
real fucking money.
And if you don't know what you if you don't know what you want to do,
So y'all actually get money.
and if you don't know what you want to do, this is what you can do until you learn what you want to do and be successful.
So that's honestly why I'm so passionate about educating online and teaching people, is giving you other options. Before seeing this episode, some of you might not have known that government contract was an option. You might not have known that franchising was an option.
Right.
Like, there's different ways that you can look at, like, what Carlton does with franchise. You can look at, hey, maybe I'm not the visionary, so maybe I should go look at buying a franchise where I'm going to cut that time. Or maybe I am the visionary. Maybe I can figure out how I can create my own franchise, become a franchisor. Like, we both just want to show the youth that there's options out there for you. Ladies, you don't have to sell your ass. If your body's your biggest asset, you're always gonna do some hoe shit.
Yep.
Like, you don't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? Fellas, you don't have to rap to make money. I'm an example of playing ball. When I really got to that point where it was like, okay, it could have became reality, and they started breaking down to me how much money I really would have made, it wasn't worth it no more.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? There's other options for all of y'all. So we just really, I'm sure I speak for him when I said, we just really want to expose people to the options. Like, you can do other stuff, you know what I'm saying? Use the platform for what it can be used for.
Where can someone find you in your
Exactly what I was about to
course?
Put your course out there. We need people.
Yeah, so my website's www.thegovernmentcheese.org. So on IG it's GOV_cheese, and then my personal Instagram is Kev_J. So my government cheese IG just got taken down yesterday. Gotta love the haters. When you start talking too much,
Yeah.
I'm about to say, you don't even seem like the type to lose a page.
Oh, no. It happens to me a lot. And it happens a lot because people are constantly mimicking my page because my following has grown so fast overnight because of the information.
It's on Instagram. You lost it on Instagram?
I lost it on Instagram.
I got a guy for that.
Yeah, but I still got, YouTube, Government Cheese on YouTube, because I'm big on free content.
Got you.
So I give everybody everything free. I don't want you to spend a dime with me. I don't need your money.
Shit, I might go watch it.
I want to give you everything for free. And then when you get to the point that you realize that, okay, I'm really ready to go to the next level, then we can talk about money.
You know what's dope about what you just said about giving it away for free is that, who said it? Gary Vee said 97% of the people that's listening to me talk right now ain't going to do shit. So the 3% I'm talking to, let's go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because y'all not going to do it anyway. I can tell you the answer to your life right the fuck now. You
And
ain't
you're
gonna
not
do it.
gonna listen.
So who gives a fuck? I'm going to tell you.
I'm for sure one of them three.
That's so funny, man. I mean, my partner talk about that all the time. He's like, he'd be like, hey man, don't say all that. I'm like, bro, they're not gonna do it, dude.
They're not gonna do it.
Give it the whole, dude. The funny thing is, if you watch my social media, I literally give away my whole game. Everything is, it's just like, but it's so funny, man. They won't do it. They won't do it. And again, it comes from your foundation.
I'm about to say, you giving free game. What's your social?
Oh,
Yeah.
So social on Instagram is Carlton_Washington on Instagram. Website is my company website, foreveryoung.com. That's with the number 4everyoung.com. And right now, all I do is franchising. I don't do anything else. I would love to help some people out, but for that, people buy the franchise, then I help them out. So
Let's do it.
But yeah.
Well, shit, man, these other people stupid as hell, like, dumb as hell, bro. Because I'll be banging y'all line like, hey, come do this lecture. Come do this
Kevin, before Kevin, as Kevin was getting into what he's doing now, and I'd be asking him questions, man, he would always be like, he's like, dude, you don't understand. He's like, these people they're all faking. They're all faking. he's like, they keep on pulling me over after these things, like asking me, can I sign up for your course or whatever? He's like, it's all bullshit. And now, as we get more exposed, we walk through these places, and I'm just like, through the micro messaging and looking at people, how do they talk, how do they dress, what are their priorities, what their activity level is like, you can just see through the matrix, and you're like, wow, these dudes are really out here full of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, ask for tax returns, ask for P&L. If these guys are at the pool at 12 o'clock, man, something's wrong, man. It doesn't make sense, dude.
Bro, because whenever y'all call me, where am I at?
That was me.
In
That's
my
how I did my
motherfucking
business.
office, and you hear my children in the background. I'm working. That's the only way when you like. it's on everybody else on social media all the time. That's why I be telling them, like, social media, that shit the devil. I'm like,
Well, look, let's be honest.
a lot of money though from social media.
No,
I have
no, listen,
too.
media's
social
always
media
been
is
a
the shit,
blessing
but
for me.
I have
different strokes
too.
for different folk. I'm a pro social media guy, but the whole thing is tunnel vision is the key. No matter what you're doing, social media, non-social media, if you got them 4 principles, I don't give a fuck what you're using, you gonna win.
Yeah, if you're
Guaranteed.
gonna do social media, just be the best person on it.
That's it.
That's the way I see it. Like if you're gonna do it, like that's part of what has gained me a lot of success on
Right.
social media. Because when I decided that I'm gonna get on social media and talk about government contracting,
Right.
I said I'm going to be the best government contracting educator on social media. And I literally called and connected with and reached out to every person on social media that does government contracting education. And I said, I'm coming. This is what I'm going to bring. What are you doing? We can either work together or
get run over.
Yeah, you can be a part of me getting through it. And so that's what leads to like the hate. Because I have ran past a lot of people because I'm like, yo, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be the best at doing it. I'm going to turn people from nothing to something. I'm going to create millionaires overnight, which I do literally. And I'm like, either you going to step up and you going to do the same thing or you just going to move out the way.
Fam, when your birthday?
October 29th, Scorpio.
Scorpio. Okay, my oldest is a Scorpio. I'm like, yeah, I'm a Sagittarius. I'm like, I got.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm like, I feel.
Piggyback on what you're saying, but don't sell a dream either. Don't be out here selling these
Don't
dreams.
sell no dream, man.
Keep it real with people and be open for an audit. You know, I find most people, they're not open for audit, man. Like you need to be able to take constructive criticism or real criticism. Like, hey, man, that shit is the thing that you're selling, that you're promoting. Is it really working for you? Are you really even good at it? Is your structure proper? Are you making any money? No.
of them are.
All right, so we should stop. Yeah. So let's stop doing this.
Right.
Let's be honest with yourself. You know what I mean? Because this is BS. And at some point, you're always going to get exposed. And people selling these dreams online, you're going to get exposed. You always do. And then there goes your 15 minutes of fame, right?
Yeah. You know what's funny about those dream sellers? It's funny. I seen one of them on a podcast, and one of the guys was like, "Yeah, just show me the receipts. Let me see your Shopify report. Let me just see it real quick." And he's fidgeting his phone and shit, and he don't want to give it up. And I find it funny is because we're selling these dreams at such a high price, and we're selling this lifestyle, but we can't even show the evidence. It's like, yo, you can sell it without selling this fucking dumbass dream, because everybody can't make $1 million in a month, but you can sell, like, look. Yo, you could use an extra
I'm gonna say
5,000
shit
more,
you can
extra
if you
10,000.
government
Make it
contract.
realistic. Like, everybody wants to sell fucking this fucking luxury fucking Godfather lifestyle. And it's like, yo,
Yeah.
some people just need an extra 5,000-10,000 a month.
Right.
It's okay for you to sell that. You know what I mean? But everybody's so big on keeping up with the Joneses and shit. And I think that's what this episode is just demystifying.
Hey, my numbers are
what
public,
I
man.
said.
And franchising, we have to file federal, disclosure every year. So you can look up my numbers.
Same thing. with
FINRA.
government. Same thing with me.
FINRA, SEC.
I tell people all the time, that's how I got ruffled a lot of feathers with people in the space. I'm a federal contractor. Anything that every dollar I ever made, you can Google it. You can go on USAspending.gov, you can go on FPDS.gov, you can type my company name and you can see how much money I made. So if I tell you, like I was talking 9 figures, if I tell you I got $100 million contracts, I can give you the contract number. You can Google it. You can see my name. You can see 100 million, and you see.
Shout out to no fucking fraud.
Bro said big bank, take little bank. You ain't got it, son.
This is, forget all, like, the rapping shit is all cool. This is who we need to be. This
Bro,
is
that's
our
what
new
I said.
idol.
Man, that rapper shit is funny, man, because, again, you get around those guys again, you make it make sense, okay?
Right.
We can all count. Look at right? So I can estimate your time, your cars, what you're showing me, the cash flow it takes to sustain that.
Yes.
Make it make sense, man.
Make it make sense.
Athletes, make it make sense, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make sense.
You know
And
the percentage of athletes go broke? It's such a high percentage. It's like
Yes.
70, 80%.
we see them all the time. Man.
Yeah.
They take care
I
of
have
their
them
whole
hit me
squad,
up, people
that's why.
that I've known all throughout my life, and now that they get to 40 years old, and that window when you play, from 24 to 28 is gone, and so they can live off that money up until they 32, 35 maybe. They get to 40, they hit my line, bro. Put me in. What I gotta do? How I do stuff? I done seen them do some crazy shit, and it happens.
Yeah, you just had the dude in the NBA just defrauded. He was doing the healthcare fraud. You had the football player. He was doing same thing. All these guys, man, you see it all the time. The long-term success of an entrepreneur that's actually doing real business is way better than most athletes, and way better than just about every single rapper. It just doesn't make sense.
I'm gonna go on record saying it right now. What both of you all do is very detrimental for our community. And I recommend that people really look into you all business models, and they also take your courses and reach out to you, because I'm going to do it myself. And I don't sign off on a lot of shit because I call bullshit quick. But for real, I do. I really do. But
do your due diligence. We always tell people, do your due diligence. Don't take our word for it. Go look it up. If we're lying, go post about it or something, you know. But, you know, like you're saying, it's true. And when I go speak to kids, I like to always give them something to interact. And every time I go speak to kids, I can always tell there's always like 3 out of the 20 or 5 out of the 50. And you can tell who's going to be who because they're paying attention, they're watching, they're listening. And it's the same thing for what we were talking about earlier. Like most people aren't going to do it. It's the same numbers and statistics. But for the ones who are, I mean, I think most people I've found that are having any kind of success, I think they actually love being approached
100%.
by someone
100%.
who's hungry. And when you can feel it, you'll go out of your way. It's surprising. You could probably go up to just about anybody out there who's just not an asshole, who's doing something that you want to do, and they will make time for you. And even with that being said, they still won't do it, man.
Man, take us out with that one, bro. That was,
Well, most definitely appreciate you all coming out. And this has been another great episode of Capital Gains Podcast. And this is where we have real conversations with real people in real time. I am DJ Bay, also known as the Prince of Hemp. This is my co-host.
You already know it's Peter Parker, CEO, Director of the Year. I appreciate you guys for coming. And now you officially know it's beauty in the motherfucking struggle.
Capital Gains.